What's up, guys? Do not adjust your set. This is not an optical illusion. Actually, it's some kind of weird filter, and I'm not sure I can turn the thing off. Let's see. Yeah, well, looks like we're stuck with it. Yeah, let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. Having a little fun with filters. It's been a while since I posted a video. We've been, pretty busy. Had a lot of things going on. Some of the videos, some of the things we've been doing take a little bit of focus. But I thought today I might kind of show you guys a little bit about how I change out this syrup for the bees. Right here is what I have and I made this. This looks like water. It's not. It's called simple syrup. We just take about half table syrup, half warm water, stir it up, and it makes kind of a sugary solution. This is helping to feed the bees in their first year here because they're trying to get established, and we want them to survive the winter. And I'm an amateur beekeeper, to say the least. Literally just started this spring with bees. But someone kind of encouraged me a few days ago, and I was posting about some of the things we're doing, and they said, maybe I should post some how-to videos on things, to help people get started. And at first I thought, well, I'm just trying to learn most of this stuff myself, so I'm not sure how many how-to videos I could really do. But I thought, well, maybe if I could just share something about my experience, it would encourage somebody else to kind of take up this lifestyle, or add a little bit of something to it. So anyway, so I thought I'd start sharing a few more things, and just maybe some simple things that I'm doing to kind of encourage you that if I can do this stuff, you can do it. You can add something to your life that is creative, natural, that brings joy and brings the goodness of God's creation right into your life. You don't have to be, some exceptional person. Most people, most cities will allow you to. I say most. Maybe there's a lot of places that would allow you to do honeybees, keep hives. There's certain regulations in certain places. You'd always have to check that stuff out. But you can do honeybees. You can have, and they take a very, if you're able to do it and you're not dealing with some kind of allergy or something like that with bees, that's something you need to think about. Luckily or fortunately, however you want to say it, for me, I'm not very affected by my dog's trying to mess with the hive. Sadie, stop. You see me getting on the Sadie. She's very interested in the door of my hive here, and I'm trying to get her to be uninterested. All right, well, anyway, there she is, trying to steal a show. Say hey, Sadie. Hey there. But they take up very little space, and you can produce a good bit of honey. Not only that, considering how important they are to agriculture, the environment, you're doing something positive for yourself, for the bees, who you will be helping to survive and to thrive. And it really just feels good to do that kind of thing. So you may, if you can do that, you can do it in a very small amount of space. In a very small piece of ground, you can put several hives, 2 or 3 hives, and you can do it. So anyway, what I want to try to do is maybe I want to try to turn this thing around if I can. Let's see here. There we go. I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to try to do this and show you guys at the same time without fumbling the camera onto the ground. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I just basically made the warm water halfway full, jars halfway full of sugar, halfway full of water, stir it up, kind of let it cool down a little bit. It's kind of cloudy at first, and it clears down, and you can kind of see it thickens the water a little bit, makes a syrup. Now here I have the jar that I'll rotate out, and you can see the bees. They're going in there doing their little thing. And I'll show you. I don't know if you can see some of these bees. Periodically, they come in. Their back legs are just swollen yellow with pollen. That means they're getting in some good pollen for the hive, helping to make that work. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is when I pull this out, because it's kind of almost empty here, we may not have a lot of bees sitting on the bottom. But if they do, I'll show you how to get rid of those. But got some ants here trying to get that little bit of sugar that we left behind. So we're going to go ahead and pull this out. Oh yeah, see right there? There we have these bees. Okay, now they were having a great, lunch there at the buffet, and I don't know about to disturb them. To get them to move off this lid, it's just a little bit of this right here, like that. I usually give them a little room. They'll fly around and they'll find their way back into the hive, like so. Now this is going to be, this is harder to do with one hand anyway, because it's kind of sealed by that sugary water. But I'm basically going to take this cap with these holes in it and replace it and put it on that and just turn that up in there. And I'm just going to kind of show you what I'm going to do without actually doing it, because I don't think I can do it with one hand. But when I get ready to put this back in, I'm just going to take this, turn it over close to the feeder, and I'm just going to use it to kind of push them down without trying my best not to squish any of those guys that are still down there trying to eat. And I do that about once a day at this point in time, because they're really, this is not an established hive. It's only less than a couple months old. And if you look at some of the videos, I think we've posted some videos of some of the hive inspections that we've done, and you kind of see what's going on inside of this hive. But they're building up comb, they're laying eggs, they're getting more workers out to get out and harvest the pollen that's in various plants. And it's really amazing, because I never thought about how many things make pollen or bloom through the spring season until I started keeping bees. And now I'm watching as I go up and down the road saying, oh, that wasn't blooming last week, now it is. And it's amazing. They say that bees can cover up to a 5-mile radius, and if you want to see how much that is, you click your odometer and drive 5 miles away from your house and see how long of a distance that is, and imagine that in a circle. So they can cover a lot of ground. There's a lot of things blooming, a lot of pollen together, but they're trying to get all that in. So our first goal this year is to help these guys get enough honey built up so that they can survive over the winter, and then they're ready next year to be right on that first surge of pollen and nectar, and that's when hopefully they can start surplusing enough honey that I can get them through the winter, and then I can take the surplus. That's how that works, and that's a pretty nice little symbiotic relationship, in the fact that without being managed, the ability of a beehive to survive through the winters, it's kind of iffy. And I don't want to say 50-50, but there's not a guarantee by any stretch that they're just going to make it through the winter. But being managed, having human intervention management, I'm helping them to make it through the winter to the next season, and then I'm also I get the benefit of whatever extra honey, almost like they pay me for my help in extra honey. That's a good deal. So just a little bit there, and I do this, like I said, once a day, and then once a week. So far I've pulled the top off of this thing, went through the hive, and I think maybe next week when we do the next hive inspection, we'll maybe go live on that and show you guys what's going on there. But that's how we're doing with the beehive right here. This I'm going to turn this around. This kit here all together, and I painted it, so it didn't come painted, but I painted the hive. But it costs you about $250 honestly altogether, and you have to do some assembly on it. And that is kind of the catch. If you're looking for a financial angle, that is a bit of the catch, is that you have to put the upfront investment into the hive parts. But the benefit is, honey is actually one of the most profitable things you can raise in a small space. I mean, you can really market this stuff and you can turn at least a decent profit. And if you don't do anything else, you're making honey. You're not making honey, but you're sharing in the honey, and you're helping pollinate. I mean, one thing we noticed when I began to be interested in honeybees, but then I started thinking about it. But we noticed how few pollinators we had around, and how plants that we planted, for instance, pumpkins, weren't bringing forth fruit, weren't going to fruit. Certain fruit trees we had, and the reason was because we just didn't have enough pollinators. They're not cross-pollinating a lot of things, and so just putting this beehive here, a 5-mile radius, increases the chances of fruit-bearing trees and plants to bring forth fruit, just having them. So it's just a really cool thing to look into. you think about, most people when they think about a beehive, they think about a giant yellow jacket nest or something. You pull the top off and they're all over you. You're rolling on the floor, and it's not that way at all. I mean, I've been in the hive 3 times and have not been stung or even had an aggressive situation with them. And at least one of the times, I never even used smoke to get into the hive. I just opened the hive and dealt with them, and they were absolutely, if you're really gentle and very careful with them, and of course they can be different, but most of the time it's fine. You're going to get in and out, and it's really super cool to get in there and see all that. So if you like to look into putting up some beehives and be a beekeeper, because it's a pretty cool hobby. And once you start looking into it, it's almost a world into itself. It's a part of the agricultural world. It could be part of the micro farm, a homestead life, definitely, but it's almost a world into itself. A lot of resources online, a lot of groups you can get into that will help you. I haven't, because of obviously the quarantine and some of the things we're dealing with, haven't been able to even attend any kind of meeting, but I've had a lot of advice and help online, watched a lot of videos. So you can do this stuff, and that's my point of these videos, is that you can make a difference in your life if you look around you, and to kind of bring this into maybe a spiritual side. God gives us resources, and those resources are there. And very often we may feel hopeless. We may feel locked into certain situations, but if you look around you, there are ways to be creative. There's ways to make beautiful things around you, and to participate in God's creation. And there's something extremely uplifting and edifying about participating in God's creation. So do it. That's what I'm saying. Just do it. It may not be honeybees. It may not be raising chickens for eggs. It may not be raising tomatoes. It may not be raising whatever. Just do something. Grow something. And watch how it affects and edifies your experience in the world. So just going to share that. Be looking for more videos, because I'm really going to try to share what I'm doing as we do it and explain what we're doing to inspire other people to come along. Can you imagine a world where, rather than spending our energy trying to take advantage of people and trying to pile up material goods, we were people who learned to be stewards of God's creation, learned to grow food, learned to share, learned to be good citizens of this planet. I think that would be a much better world. I certainly do. And it's to the glory of God, our Creator. So at any rate, I hope this has been a blessing to you. And we're going to go ahead and feed these bees now. And we'll talk to you guys later. Look out for some videos. God bless.